Oh yeah, now I can. Now I can. Now I'm recording.
You're recording?
I'm recording. But just so you know, like the image of you is like kind of blurry. It was much clearer on your phone, but whatever. Like you still see you fine.
Yeah.
But I think you could
It's just
now
the
like
can the
jump
can.
on your phone, and I could then hide your computer one. Yeah. So if you
Like this?
yeah, that's good. But then turn video off on your computer. Because then once you turn video off, yeah, there we go. And I'm recording still.
Okay.
I
Should we
just want to
start?
make the screen a little bigger if I can here. Yeah, there we go. I mean, I don't really know what the recording looks like, but there we go. All right, cool.
So you're sure you're recording and this isn't just the
Yeah,
big
it's recording up in the.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. I see it too. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Okay, I'm in the midst of feeding Emerson. I gotta. Okay, cool. Megan's gonna come grab her because.
Boo, St. Anne's.
Hi.
Hi, Megan.
How are
Good.
you?
How are you?
Good. Good. Can't complain. A little quarantine, but otherwise good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good age for a quarantine. She doesn't know the difference, right?
She doesn't know the difference. I do. I was like, I was just coming out of quarantine to go back in, but it's okay. No, it's good. All right. Have fun, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's kind of a funny bit. With you were holding her a very good way there, babe.
Her
Like,
hair, was my hair over her?
no, like everyone was in there. Yeah. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. So, welcome to.
There's a massive echo. Can you mute one of your things?
Yeah. I'm gonna try just to go in a different room. Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I forgot my notes. Well, this is
Gotta make sure that like this part gets up there for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be the part people will enjoy most. Okay, so here it is. We're here with James Acker, president of the Montreal Irish Rugby Football Club. James is going to talk to us about a few topics of interest to the club. So, James, thank you for taking the time, and thanks for sending me that list of things to discuss. So, without further ado, well, you know what? Why don't you just tell us how you're doing and how your family's doing?
I'm doing good. Family's doing good. I have a little 3-month-old baby who doesn't know anything about COVID, which is helpful. And also, this thing would be the worst if it attacked kids. I mean, it's very bad that it attacks anybody, but if it attacked kids, it would be the worst. So we're thankful for that and keeping busy, making a big pot of soup a day, trying to do some work, but work is really, really dead. My business is considered essential services, but there's really nothing going on at all. Let me mute my phone. But yeah, I'm good, in good spirits, hanging out with the family. I feel lucky to have people to hang out with every day, that I'm not alone, because I wouldn't want to be alone in an apartment right now. And so for those people, I feel for you. Make sure you guys are, reaching out to people, getting on the phone, talking to people, join online workouts. Make sure you stay connected with people and socialize, because it's super important.
Absolutely, and that's going to be part of our reach out. So look, James, thanks for the intro. Let's hop right in here with some topics that I think will be of interest to our members. So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about Sainte-Julie.
Sure. I'm just gonna address Gallagher holding a lemon behind you real quickly. Hi, Gallagher. Okay, Sainte-Julie. I'll talk about Sainte-Julie really in two segments, I suppose. One is short term and one is long term. Short term, Sainte-Julie, we are looking at doing the things necessary with the Sainte-Julie Fire Department to make sure the clubhouse is up to snuff, so that we can operate as normal whenever the season starts. And on that note, the basement, it looks like the whole basement is going to be used for maintenance only for this coming summer, because the finances to make that acceptable to the Sainte-Julie Fire Department, it would just, we don't have the funds to do what's necessary, nor do we want to take some time to make a decision on what our priorities are on there. So what we're going to do is focus on getting the upstairs ready to go, and then just close off the basement to the public. We can still use it for beer storage and maintenance and all those things. But unfortunately, looks like we're not going to have the dressing rooms open this summer. That's, I mean, it is what it is. It's not great news, but the good news is that we're working hand in hand with Sainte-Julie to accomplish the things that they want us to do. And from my perspective, they're being a really good partner in this. And at the same time, they're upholding the laws as they have to do. So that's short term, and everything else is sort of status quo. Hopefully the spring melts slowly and normally, not just for Sainte-Julie, also for all of the emergency crews that are busy with COVID right now. If we were to add flooding in Montreal again, it's going to create a crazy situation. So let's just pray that the melt happens at a regular rate, which it looks like it's happening, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Long term, we're putting together a long-term committee for Sainte-Julie development, which includes what do we do to increase usage and revenue on the land that we have, on the asset that we have. It's really an asset management committee for the future. And without going into too many details on that, because that would be, I'd be remiss to do that. What I can say is that we have had someone who's accepted to be the chair of that committee, who is Monsieur Guillaume Caudron, who is a really great organizer. He has a lot of experience working with government and private enterprise, and he's really good at organizing. He's fairly new to the club, which I consider maybe an advantage, because he's sort of removed from any politics that exist. And now I'm in the process of putting together the other members of that committee. So it's not going to be a huge committee. It's going to be 5 or 7 people. I haven't decided yet. It'll depend on who comes along. If anyone's interested in being on that committee, please feel free to reach out just to me directly. Send me an email, reach out to me on Facebook, call me, whatever you need to do. And something on that, the gentleman who purchased the second part of that land for us, if you don't know the backstory, some of that land was purchased by some members of the club. I'm going to make sure that at least one of those gentlemen is on the committee, because it's fair that they're represented in whatever direction that committee chooses to take with Sainte-Julie. So that's the long and short term plans there.
Yeah. And may I suggest, under no circumstances should one of those gentlemen be Martin Buckle. I just like to register my absolute disapproval of Martin.
We'll make sure he gets tagged in this video.
Yeah. Well, thanks, James. That's good. It's interesting news, and we'll be following that. Maybe to sort of segue in what you're saying with some of the old boys who had purchased that land and basically donated it to the club. Maybe you could tell us a bit about, some of the old boys who are or alumni who are most active with the club, and those who are really sort of contributing to the well-being of the club. I know you're active in a bunch of them.
Yeah. Where to start? So, Dave, you know this. I think you and I had a similar experience when we joined the club. And a big reason both of us joined the club, we've talked about this a lot, was the presence of those old boys, just the family atmosphere that the Montreal Irish had. I played rugby at Dawson College one season. I hated it. Wanderers tried to drag me out to play, and I didn't want to play rugby. I was broken. I was skinny. And I got convinced to come out to an indoor training, and immediately fell in love with Jimmy Gordon was behind the bar at the Black Watch. And I fell in love with the club way before I fell in love with the sport. And so the value that those guys bring, in addition to like a practical level and a social level, and coming out and cheering people on and being there, and you realize that there's a much bigger history than you can even imagine. There's some particular individuals who stand out. So I think we can start with Jimmy Heaslett, who calls me regularly, emails regularly, stays in touch, is really passionate about what the club is doing, how we're succeeding in all facets, on the field, off the field, Sainte-Julie, how the board is operating. And I'm thankful for that, because it keeps me on my toes. I never know what he's going to ask. He makes me a little bit nervous because I'm scared, but he just holds me accountable, and I really appreciate that. So I'll start with Jimmy. Mike Webb, who I've been friends with his son Johnny for a long time, and got to know Mike probably a little bit better last year. And this year he has just joined the exec as our secretary, which is amazing, because he brings such a great wealth of knowledge. He's been with the club perhaps since the beginning, certainly since the 60s. He remembers when they would meet on Monday nights to select the team for the Saturday, and they would write postcards, and they would mail postcards to all the people they had selected to make sure that they were available. They would have to sign the postcard, available or not available, put it in the post, and then receive the post back. So on Thursday at practice, they would know like who's available, who's not available, and they could make adjustments to the team. That came up when we were kind of like figuring out what we were doing about our email communication. So it's really brilliant to have him part, like, to bring those stories and stuff. And also he's just a really intelligent man who he's great at navigating different things and understanding a wide range of perspectives. And it's just great to have someone with that kind of life experience on the board with us. So after that, I guess we could just talk about the old boys lunch in general. Let's talk about John Dennett, who continues to audit our financials year after year. He's currently working on our 2019 financials, so they get closed. John is just, he brings such a massive contribution, sort of operates behind the scenes quietly, never really takes credit for too much, and doesn't stand out unless, there's really something that he's working on, but he's always doing so much behind the scenes. Make sure if you see these guys, you get introduced to them, you don't know who they are, take the time to get to know them, because they're not just, geezers on the side of the rugby pitch. These guys have been in your shoes. They've played. They've brought the club to where it is today. And in ways you don't know, they're still behind the scenes making sure that the club operates now on several different levels: financial, working with their connections to obtain sponsorships, making sure that our financials are taken care of and that we're being held accountable as a board, and just support. They're the guys showing up on Saturdays still to watch the games, right? They're hopefully will be in those shoes in a few years, or 30 years, 50 years. Some of them are some of them are up in their 90s and they're still showing up on Saturdays. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
No, this is a key point. I was just going to add a couple of guys from the sort of social side of things who are, invaluable club members, the Mike McGee's of the world, the Eddie Brennans, the too many to name, people that you see out and about at our events. Roger, people you see at the pub, at the field, wherever it is. It's a
and I think it's really important to kind of highlight the next generation too, of like Eric Huff and Martin Buckle and Scott Fitzpatrick. These guys, they're still around, they're still contributing, they're helping out, and then that sort of morphs into the ladies who were just starting there, and now they're getting into that age group too. Joanne Auger, Jen Bridgman, all these people that are make the the sum of the club. It extends down through the generations, and I know one of my big goals last year was to engage that sort of gap generation, the guys who were in maybe their 40s or 50s, and get them more involved last year, and I feel that they did get more involved, and I want to continue that. We have a plan. I'm not ready to announce it just now, but Paul Juice and I are working on a plan to get those people even more engaged this year, and so we'll have more details on that soon. And so now Dave, you've gone to an old boys lunch. I've been to, I think, 3. They do a monthly lunch, and I get so much from that. It's amazing. These guys are still meeting once a month. There was one lunch I was at where there was maybe 30 people there. I think there was even a bigger one at Christmas. I couldn't be there because my baby was being born. And it's just excellent. It's so much fun. It's great to hear them trade war stories. And I get so much energy from just being in the room with them. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And so James, let me come back a bit more to the playing situation for this coming year. Maybe you could tell us what you know about the preseason and the season.
3 options for the season. And as far as preseason goes, Rugby Quebec will not start a season until there has been 3 weeks of preseason. There's going to be a minimum of 3 weeks preseason so that players can get up to speed, get the bodies hit fit before any regular season rugby starts. Keeping that in mind, we've canceled all rugby up until May 1st. One option would be that the preseason starts on May 1st. So the first regular season would be 3 Saturdays from May 1st, whatever that shakes out to be, maybe probably May long weekend. Correct me if I'm wrong, it might be the weekend after that, but that's what it would shake out to be. That's option 1. If I'm being honest, that's not looking likely at the moment, but that's option 1. Option 2 is a compressed / shortened season starting in, let's say, June, or perhaps July, depending on how this COVID thing plays out. That would be a shortened, compressed season with however many games, and there'd be a quick play for a cup before the university season per the original LPR schedule, which is out, by the way. We did launch the schedule. We thought it was in the best. When I say we, it's because I'm on the board of Rugby Quebec. We thought it was in the best interest to launch the schedule and then back out of it, rather than kind of, if everything worked out and then we wouldn't have had the schedule done, that wouldn't have been good either. So, yeah. And then the third option would be to cancel the season completely. And if that season was canceled completely, we would obviously find a way to have rugby starting, let's say, in August and then running through the fall. But while we say cancel, because it's not going to look like the LPR schedule at all, university players will obviously be going to play at university. So it'll be a men's league outside of the university players, and time would tell what that shakes up to be. Right. The plan was to have an inter-club regional 16 competition in the fall. That was a motion that was proposed by Quebec City at the AGM, Rugby Quebec AGM, and it was approved that in the fall they would look to have regional competition, whether it be a team from Ottawa, a team from Quebec City, a team from Sherbrooke, a team from Montreal West, a team from Montreal Centre, and a team from Montreal East. And those 6 teams would be comprised of the multiple clubs in their areas and without university players. And they would play a season, and, you know, it was Rugby Quebec's job in the office to figure out what that would look like. That, you know, we're not there yet. Perhaps that'll be what the season will look like. Perhaps not. Perhaps it'll just be a regular club season, but really late and men only, not university. So, hey, Connor's here.
I can't see him.
Oh, well. Oh, Connor's iPhone is connecting to audio.
Connor.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. What's up?
We're recording, so you know.
So you're live.
Fantastic. I was downstairs eating dinner. I didn't have my phone. Sorry.
No worries. Look, we've gone a bit long, James. So why don't I just ask you guys, you and Connor, while you're both here, one last topic, and then we'll save maybe the 3 last topics for a follow-up call. But maybe you guys could tell us a bit about what happened at the AGM and give us an update.
Connor had 6 pints of Guinness, and we got a lot of business done. We filled the slate. Connor, you want to introduce? Do you have the names in front of you? Because I could grab them here. Max had that document that I can grab right now.
Can you still see me or no?
No, you just disappeared.
It's on my phone. It's because it's on my phone. The list is on my phone.
Okay, I'll run through it. So I remain as the president. Conor, vice president. Sponsorship remains Seymour Ward. Treasurer is now Paul Van Wyck. Dave Keane is the junior minis director. Mike Webb, as mentioned before, is the secretary. VP Sainte-Julie, Tim Jaworski. Communications manager, Max Mousset. Membership and registration, Marius Andre. Merchandise and equipment is Zach Hazan. Rugby operations, Nicholas Mercier. Club captain, Alfredo Cosentino. And the director of rugby, Scott Barrington. The only position on the slate that we not get filled is events coordinator, which we are still looking for someone to step up. So if you're listening to this and it's calling you, please, we would like someone to be there. Just a quick description, that's not someone who organizes every event, but simply someone who coordinates with the individual event organizers.
Cool. That's good. I mean, I'm happy to hear. It sounds like, well, I know a lot of those people and a lot of really competent people. So
I would say that I think this is the fourth time I've been on the exec for a total of, I don't know, maybe 7 years. I was on the exec in my early 20s and then briefly in 2016 for 1 year. And then now, and I mean, this is not a knock on any other execs because they've all been great to work with, but I just feel an energy.
Sounds like it will be.
Yeah, it might be. No, I'm not at all. It just, the current exec, we had a meeting last night. We're actually having a meeting every 2 weeks. But what's really great is everyone seems like they're really excited to be there. No one stepped up because they thought like, no one else is going to do this, so I'll do it. It seems like everyone is there because they really want to be there because they feel like they have something to contribute, to engage, and they're doing that. And so that's amazing.
Well, that's good to hear. You know, when I was on the exec, I mean, for at least half of it, this idiot here was president. So I can't know if you can see him there. Listen, I think we'll shift the last three topics to the next call, but maybe I'll give Conor a chance to maybe you can update us on. We talked a bit about Sainte-Julie, the preseason, the season, the old boys, and then now the AGM. Is there anything you'd like to add, Conor?
I mean, just in terms of, projects that we're taking on right now, we did kind of a run through of everything last night, and we've got about 14 projects that we're working on where I'd say there's a team of 3 to 4 people per project. One of which is the fields. I know a lot of people are interested in the field update and where we're going to practice once we can resume playing. We've made contact with NDG, Lachine, LaSalle, a couple of the school boards. It's definitely a tough topic, a tough ask. Nice one, Acker. But the good thing is that after multiple contacts, we're starting to build dialogue with these regions, neighborhoods, which allows us to build relationships for future years. So, even if we're not able to book a field through LaSalle, for example, it's completely booked. It still builds a relationship with them, and we can get in earlier next year if we need to for some reason. So there's positive traction coming from that. And after a conversation with the GAA guys at the ball, they're actively seeking fields as well, and we're going to be working together. Both clubs, if you will, to try and find grounds that will allow us both to train, to better, and just to grow collectively. So that's from the field side of it. Another major project for each year is a golf tournament. Given the uncertainty of everything going on, there's been a couple golf clubs that have come out and just outright said they're closing the club for the year. I have not heard that from our venue so far. And I'm speaking regularly with representatives from that club to see what's going on. So luckily it's at the end of August, which is always good. It gives us some time right now, but we're keeping an eye on that. And then have you guys spoken about communication and whatnot?
No, that's going to be for the next
topic. Okay, no problem. So yeah, I'll leave the updates there. Fields, we're actively working on it, and golf tournament so far we're going ahead, but we'll give an update as soon as we know more news.
Okay. Cool.
Can I just? Sorry, Dave. I know you want to wrap it up. I just want to jump in on the Fields real quick.
Yeah.
Just because it's a bit of positive news, and Conor is hearing this for the first time as well. The deputy mayor called me today to talk about, like, just because I'm making soup for homeless people, and he wanted to talk about that a little bit, and because I want to make sure that we're getting resources where resources are needed, which turns out is food. They really just need food made. But we chatted for a long time. He's a talkative man once you get him on the phone. And so we eventually started talking about the field situation, which is, we've been wanting to have that conversation for a while, and we've had it on and off. So he invited me to reopen the conversation with him and with another counselor from Sud-West to re-engage them in the process of finding us a field. So I'm going to send an email this evening. I basically got off the phone and then jumped on here. So I'm going to send an email to them this evening with you copied there, Conor, and hopefully that gets us moving even further in the right direction there.
Great news.
Yeah. Well, that's you guys have both done a lot of hard work on that. So I guess on behalf of people who have practiced at Parc Dupree, thank you.
Rolling Parc Dupree is one option.
What's that?
Without getting to the nitty-gritty, rolling Parc Dupree and making it a suitable playing surface is one option.
Yeah. Well, to be further discussed. Oh boy, I'm not going to be a news reporter. Okay, listen, boys, I appreciate your time. The club appreciates your time and all your efforts. So we're going to sign off now. There's a few more topics that we'll cover next time, but that's about it. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.
Be safe.
Fantastic.
Mark appreciates it too.
Safe health to everyone.
Thanks,
Be
Dave.
safe. Stay home. Take care.
Okay. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.